Hey VC, it's Yanni back again, and today I wanted to show you guys my favorite releases of 2017, or pretty much in this video you'll see all the 2017 released records I got last year. And I thought quite many of you guys made a video like this where you showed your purchases from the last year releases, and I thought it would be the time to do the video if I'm going to do that, since we are almost a month away from 2017 already. So I thought it would be about the time to make this video, so let's begin. And we begin with somewhat a disappointment when I heard the first single out of this album. It wasn't that good, I thought, and then the band released an acoustic version of the song which I thought was way better than the one that's actually on the record itself. And the record I'm talking about is Pacific Daydream by Weezer. And Weezer is one of my favorite bands, or at least their first 3 or 4 records are absolutely magnificent. But then they made a couple records that weren't that good. I actually think Make Believe is quite decent album in my opinion, even though some think that is one of their worst albums, but I think it's quite decent album. And actually the last 2 records they made, Everything Will Be Alright in the End, and the record they released in 2016, the White Album, they were more like back to the roots kind of albums, and I really think they were really great albums. And it was nice to hear that Weezer were like themselves again, and not like not so experimental with all of this stuff. And this was kind of a step back to the not so great years. And the first single from this album, Feels Like Summer, it sounds like a mediocre like pop song you hear in the radio every day nowadays, and that's not my kind of music, so I really didn't like that. I've still got the album, since I thought, well, maybe there's some good stuff in there, and I think there are a couple okay songs, but this is certainly not one of the best moments of the band. And this is a limited edition colored vinyl. I think this is actually white vinyl with black splatter. There was also this, I think this was limited to 2,000 copies or something like that, and there was also this kind of color in color variation where the record was like clear, and then there was this like pink blob at the middle, but that was limited to only 1,000 copies, and it was sold out in like 3 days, so I had to pick this one instead. So yeah, moving on. Next I have a great record by a Finnish rock / progressive rock band, Hertz and Brothers, and this is their new release, War Is Over. And I have actually shown this album a couple of times, I think, in my previous videos, but this was a great album. I really liked when I heard the first single out of this album, which was The Arsonist. it was a really great song, and I really love the fact that they have this kind of like Soundgarden vibe in their sound, and because I love Soundgarden, so it's really cool to hear that same kind of element. And the vocalist Mikko von Hertzen, his sounds just like Chris Cornell, so that is a really cool thing. But yeah, this was a really great album. This is the special Finnish release of this album. It was on white vinyl, and people who pre-ordered this from Record Shop X got this album signed, so I pre-ordered it and it is signed by the band, which is a really cool addition to the record itself. Then we have one of the most interesting band from the recent years, or couple of years, Royal Blood, and their newest album since, sorry, what was the name of the album? How Did We Get So Dark? Sorry, totally forgot the title of the album. But I really think this band is really interesting if you like think the fact that they have only 2 members in the band, and if you think like rock bands usually they have like 4 or 5 members, and they have only like bassist who sings also the vocals and drummer. So it's quite unbelievable what what they can do with such a like minimal resources. So I think this band is really interesting, and it's been great that they have made these great records, or 2 albums they have made. They have been both been brilliant. But yeah, moving on, next record I have in my hands is Live at Tavastia by Kingstonwall, and I actually have shown this also a couple of times. This the show itself, from where this live album is from, was actually in 1994, and it was, I think it was the release concert of their final studio album Trilogy. So this is on 3 LP, and then it has all kinds of memorabilia in this pocket right here, which is really cool stuff. There is like receipts from a bass amplifier, some photos, letters, and all kinds of cool stuff and interesting stuff. And this was limited on 200 copies on red vinyl. Actually, I have really gotten into Kingstonwall during last year. I read the book which told the story of the band, and I have listened to their music a lot, so it's been a Kingstonwall year for me. So yeah, then I have another Finnish rock band, which is CMX, and their album Talvikuningas, which is in English it's a Winter King if you translate it straight. And this album actually was originally released in 2007, but this was the first time that they released it on vinyl, and it's like 10th year anniversary release. So this album has more like progressive element into it. It's not that straightforward rock music, so these are quite progressive songs too, and this is kind of a concept album which has this like story that goes on with the songs, and it's a really great album. This is on black vinyl, limited to 300 copies. This was released by this great Finnish label Swart Records, who have released some really great stuff during the last couple of years. And which is a really cool thing also, this has this like book in it, there are all the lyrics and stuff right here. Wait a second. There are like some pictures and then the lyrics to the songs, and so this is really cool. It's like a booklet or book, the whole cover, so that is quite interesting and cool factory on this album. Then we have a record by American band Queens of the Stone Age and their most recent contribution, Villains, and this was quite interesting album since they had the producer that they had, I'm sorry I can't remember his name, was more of like pop record producer, so it was kind of not their style and they were like experimenting with stuff, and it has like this kind of almost like dance vibe into some of the songs, but then it also has some like classic Queens of the Stone Age elements into it. For example, I think the song Fortress has some kind of like Lullabies to Paralyze vibe into it, and I really liked also the first single of the album, the Way You Used to Do, and it has that kind of dancey like groove into the song itself, and that is really interesting and like a new area for Queens of the Stone Age, but I think they did quite well with this album, and I really liked it. And this also came with some stickers. They would be cool to glue on my guitar probably, but maybe someday. I'm not sure if I want to do that, but yeah. Moving on, and next we have one of the most interesting releases from last year in my opinion, and this whole band is really like interesting for me. It is a sort of like punk rock slash grunge slash like almost like I think like a Riot Girl kind of band from the UK, and it's Kamikaze Girls and their album Seafoam. This is actually their like first album. They also have an EP that I have. Actually, it's right here. It's called Sad, and yeah, this is some really great like grungy like punk rock style music. They have female vocalist. I think I'm not quite sure, but I think there is only 2 members in the band. At least I have seen the music videos. They have only a female vocalist who also plays the guitar, and then a male drummer. But I really think this is really great stuff, and this is actually a US pressing pressed on this like Seafoam / pink splatter vinyl, which is really cool. I really have to make a video about my colored vinyl record, since I really like colored vinyl. I know some of you guys in the VC don't prefer like colored vinyl, but I really love colored vinyls, since I think it's like this really cool like visual like bonus or extra thing for the album itself. Obviously the music comes first, it's the most important thing, but I think that is a really great and cool addition for the whole thing. But yeah, my favorite songs from this album are Good for Nothing, Berlin, Unhealthy Love, Lights and Sounds. I really recommend you guys to check this band out. Really great stuff. Then we have another British band, Dinosaur Pileup, and their album Nature Nurture, and this is actually a record that was originally released in, I think, 2013, but they originally didn't release it on vinyl. So last year I saw a Facebook status or something from the band telling they will release this on vinyl, so I pre-ordered it immediately. So that was a cool thing. And the really cool thing also is that on the B side it has 4 bonus tracks that were only available in the Japanese release of the original CD back in 2013. So I think that was really great thing that they added them on this vinyl release as well. Really great, like rock music inspired by like all these 90s bands like Weezer, Foo Fighters, Nirvana. So that is a really cool thing. Great songs like Arizona Waiting, Derail, Peninsula, White T-shirt and the Jeans, Summer Girl. Really great stuff. So if you haven't heard of this band, check them out. They are really great. Then we have a record by my favorite band, Foo Fighters, and their newest album, Concrete and Gold. Yeah, this was also quite interesting album in the Foo Fighters catalog, since they also had a producer that was more like pop producer. He had produced like Adele and all kinds of pop vocalists. So it was quite like new area for Foo Fighters, and you can hear that there's something different on their songs, since there are quite a lot of quite like choir arrangements in the songs and stuff like that. For example, on the song Concrete and Gold and The Sky is a Neighborhood has elements like that, and so on. But this was quite interesting album, since it wasn't that easy to listen to at first. I really liked Run when I first heard it. I think they released it in June as a single, but I really liked it. And then the second single, The Sky is a Neighborhood, which is one of my favorite songs out of this album, I really liked that too. But I think I needed a couple of more listens to some of the songs to get into the album. Also, I really liked one of my favorite songs on this album is Arrows. That is a song I liked immediately when I saw like live version they performed in, I think, in Greece. When I saw it on YouTube, I was sold immediately. It was a great song. But yeah, I needed a couple. I needed a more listen times, more repeats for this album than usually I have needed for Foo Fighters record. I always have liked them immediately. So, but I really love this album, and this was great album, and I finally managed to see the band live. I have been waiting for the moment for like fucking over 10 years. So I finally had the chance to see them live, and I had a fucking blast. It was the greatest show I have ever been to, hands down. So it was really great. And then last but not least, I have really interesting Finnish rock band in here, and their self-titled debut record they released last year, and this is Ghost World. This was also released by Swart Records, and I think they are on the label itself. or they are signed to Swart Records. But yeah, this is really great stuff. Kind of like grunge slash like shoegaze slash like punk. Really interesting. This is quite similar to Kamikaze Girls that I showed you guys earlier in this video. It has that same kind of vibe into it, and I really like this album. When I first heard of this band and heard that they were releasing this record, I got interested immediately. Then they had 2 songs in SoundCloud. So if you go to SoundCloud and write Ghost World and click search, you probably will find 2 songs out of this record. You Made Me Smell Your Fingers and Cricket, which are both really great songs. So I fell immediately in love with this band and this album. And yeah, they still have these albums on Swart Records. So if you are interested, go to the Swart Records online store and buy this album. I think it was really limited to like 300 copies on black vinyl only, so be fast if you want to have this album. But I really recommend this album to you guys if you like this grunge and punk rock style music. So check out this band, definitely. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up my 2017 records. There wasn't that many records. Obviously I bought a lot more records last year, but those were the only ones that were released in 2017. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and there will be more videos coming up. I think I have to make videos about my colored vinyl, then Vinyl Tech 2018 is one video I have to make, and yeah, those are the ones I'm going to start with probably. So thanks guys for watching, hope you enjoyed, and until the next time, see you VC.